If you've ever felt like you're fighting a losing battle with procrastination, this is for you. Does studying ever feel just impossible? You know that feeling, right? Where you're just staring at a textbook and every part of you is resisting. It feels like you're trying to push a giant boulder uphill, and even just opening the book feels like a huge effort. But here's something I really need you to hear. It is not your fault, and it's definitely not about being lazy or unmotivated. The real reason is actually way simpler, and it's all happening inside your brain. So let's get into it. If we're not lazy, then what's really going on? Well, the reason studying feels so hard all comes down to one simple, powerful thing: how our brains are wired for rewards. Just think about it for a second. On one side, you have your phone. Ping, a notification, a new post. It gives you a tiny, easy reward almost instantly. On the other side, you have studying, where the actual reward, like a good grade, is hours or maybe even weeks away. Now, the chemical that's running this whole show is dopamine. And a lot of us think of it as the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. Neuroscience shows us it's really the chemical of anticipation. It's that feeling of wanting the reward, not actually getting it. That's why your phone is so addictive. You're always anticipating the next little hit. Studying, on the other hand, asks you to wait. So your brain isn't being lazy, it's just doing some quick, logical math. It looks at the two options and says, why would I work hard for a reward I might get later when I can get a little one right now? See, it's not lazy, it's just really, really efficient at finding the fastest path to that feel-good chemical. This brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If we can't really fight our brain's basic wiring, how do we work with it? How do we rig the game so studying becomes the thing our brain actually prefers? Okay, we're going to do this with a simple 4-phase plan. First up, phase 1, the 10-minute dopamine reset. This whole phase is just about creating a clean slate before you even start. And it's so simple. For just 10 minutes, you do basically nothing. Put your phone away, turn off the music, no distractions. You just sit there and let your brain get a little bit bored. And here's why this is so powerful. When you do that, your baseline dopamine levels drop. And suddenly, a less exciting task, like studying, starts to look a lot more appealing. All right, so once you've created that clean slate, we can move on to phase 2, the 90-second motivation spark. Now, we need to send a clear signal to your brain that a reward is on its way. And this is the fun part. In just 90 seconds, right before you study, do one of these things. You could listen to an energetic song, splash cold water on your face, or even just jump in place a few times. What you're doing is creating a tiny, sharp burst of dopamine. You're teaching your brain to associate the start of studying with a little bit of energy and excitement. Okay, now for phase 3. And honestly, this might be the biggest game changer of them all. This is how you finally break through that huge wall of resistance that keeps you from even starting. There's this great idea, often credited to Mark Twain, that says the secret to getting ahead is just getting started. And the secret to getting started is breaking big, overwhelming tasks into tiny little ones. This was made really popular by James Clear in his book Atomic Habits as the 2-minute rule. So instead of telling yourself, I have to study for 3 hours, you make a new deal with yourself. You say, I'm just going to write the title on my notes, or I'm just going to read 3 lines. That's it. It's a task so easy you can't possibly say no. And the moment you do it, bam, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine for finishing something. And it starts to think, oh, okay, that felt kind of good. Maybe this isn't so bad. You've just hacked the system. So you've tricked your brain into starting. Awesome. But how do you keep that momentum going? Well, that's where phase 4 comes in. This is all about turning this trick into a real, sustainable habit. You do it by creating a simple, repeatable loop. You study for a focused chunk of time, say 25 minutes. Then, and this part is critical, you give yourself a quick 60-second reward, a piece of chocolate, listen to one song, whatever. Then you repeat. What you're doing is teaching your brain a new pattern. A little work, a little reward. A little work, a little reward. Suddenly, studying isn't this giant, scary mountain anymore. Now, I know this might all sound a little mechanical at first, but trust me, something absolutely incredible starts to happen when you stick with this. Let's look at what happens inside your brain in just 1 week. So on day 1, it's gonna feel forced. You're consciously making yourself do it. But then around day 4, you'll notice that huge wall of resistance you used to feel, it's smaller. It's starting to fade. And then by day 7, a switch flips. Your brain has learned the pattern. It actually starts to anticipate the study session and the rewards that come with it. And this right here, this is the whole point. The very act of sitting down to study becomes the trigger for dopamine, not the obstacle you have to get over. The task you used to dread is now the source of that reward-seeking excitement. You've literally rewired your brain's response. So when we put this all together, what's the one key idea you should walk away with? It's this. You don't find motivation, you build it. It's not some magical feeling you have to wait around for. It's a chemical process in your brain that you can actively take control of one small step at a time. You were never lazy. Your brain just needed to be taught a better way to study. So I really encourage you, just try this 4-phase plan for 1 week. That's all. Give your brain a chance to learn this new, much more effective pattern. You really do have the ability to turn studying into something you actually want to do. For more videos like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel.